What's up, fellas?
Hey.
Patient. James, did you get your ass into some sort of Claude yet? Building some bullshit?
Yeah, I was fucking around with it last night, so I've made
Good.
progress. But
That's it. I don't care. As long
no.
as you're fucking around with it. That's kind of like just getting in there and being like, okay,
Yeah,
what if I did this? What if I did this?
yeah. I mean, I've been using it for a lot of different things, but like the reporting's just been still so manual. So I want to get this to a point where I'm dialed in. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
close.
Cool. Yeah, get your shit into Supabase. That'd be great. Okay, cool. Group, what's happening in your company right now? Like, what's like the pivot point? Are you guys hiring a bunch of people? Are you guys trying to go for a bunch of new money? Like, what's happening?
Well, we've got a big release coming up that product is excited about that I haven't seen. We've launched a bunch of different languages and hired some folks to sell into Germany and Italy. But it's higher education, so it's been domestically pretty rough lately.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to change too much, but I guess you got to go abroad then. Then if that doesn't work, you go to Mars.
Yep.
All right. So we were at data. All right. Cool. So now we're going to talk about data interpretation and strategy. And I'll show you some stuff that I've been doing for my own business. Maybe that'll be interesting for you guys. But let me start at a high level. So when it comes to the higher up in the organization you go, the more you need to be able to make less decisions that make a bigger impact. So to do that, we need to know what the fuck we're talking about because we need to like make an estimation to the future. The other thing that's interesting when the higher up in the organization you go is the I forgot what I was going to say, just like that, and it's gone. But the items we need to make an impact on are so much bigger. I think that's pretty much what I said before. Though. So let me just jump right on in. I'm going to talk about this stuff, which I've shown before, and then we will dive into some specifics. All right. So we were talking before about reporting, and after like James and I were chatting before about reporting and putting it into Claude so you can see it in a variety of different ways. And if you guys want to look at some benchmarks, by the way, here's some good idea for benchmarks. It might be a little bit different for you, James, definitely. But this is basically like, call it mid-market enterprise, like medium sale, big sale. Win rate should be about this. Sales cycle somewhere in here, 45 days, really more like that. Deal size around 15K. This is a better way to look at it, actually. So even though this has like 3 days, 3K, whatever, just think this is like very small, kind of small, medium, big, very big. So like how many new opportunities per month can one sales rep handle? If the sales rep is closing deals every day, they could probably handle about 200 new deals a month. If the sales rep is closing like 50K deals, or the deals are taking like 3 months or so to close, they can handle about 20 new deals per month. That means their pipeline by month 3 would be like close to 60. So that's why they can't really handle much more than that. That's when you start to see your win rates plummet. Same thing over here. This is just a good way to see for easy deals what the win rate should be, and for harder deals, and for very small deals versus very big deals. So you want to think about where am I on this scale? Like, are my deals big or small, hard or easy, to get an idea of like where you guys should be. As I've worked with a lot of organizations. What's up, Juana?
Hey, sorry for being late.
So we're talking about different benchmarks you could assume. Alana, what do you sell again? I forget.
Cybersecurity.
Okay, cool. So we're saying super small deals, inbound win rate expected, outbound win rate expected, massive deals, inbound win rate expected, outbound win rate expected. Sales cycle for small deals should be no more than like a week. For big deals should be probably over 7 months or so. This is the stuff.
Is this like aggregated from your experience?
Yep.
As the fractional roles?
Yep. So obviously,
that's a small sales cycle, I can say.
Huh?
That's a short sales cycle.
I'm saying if your deal is like a 3K deal, like if you have a short sales cycle, it's like a $3,000 deal, should take you a week. If you're trying to sell a $70,000 tool, probably gonna take you about 3 to 7 months to close that deal. So think of it more of that, like for your deal sizes, where do you fall? And then this should be what your sales cycle is based on wherever you feel like your deal size is. Joe, are you thinking like your team is way off somewhere?
Oh yeah, multiple places.
Well, how big is your typical deal?
annual licensing between like 20 and 40.
And you're selling, but you're selling the higher ed, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That is one different thing. SLED is a different world. So for SLED, you can basically double or triple every single number.
Glad to hear that.
Better? Yeah. So your 20 or 40K deal here, I would expect to be more like this. Basically, you're the bottom for everything because you're in that education world. What's up, Baki? It's been a while. These are the other things I think you guys can resonate with. As important as you think about hiring second line leaders, or if you think about arguing for second line leadership, or if you've been juggling with the idea of, man, I really think I should get like a team lead, or should I really be delegating? Shouldn't I take it all myself? This is the like global truth. If you have under 5 people on your team, you can do the job with your hands tied. You could probably even potentially, if you're very good at your job, be an AE while doing that. But you could definitely run this team, no problem. You're probably doing too much, if anything. 5 to 8 is ideal. Like 8 is the most ideal. Under 10, that 5 to 10, you're running the team. You could probably handle like one project. We're changing pricing. We want to hire 5 more people. We should build an onboarding thing, whatever. Over 10, you're hanging on. You're not doing anything other than managing day to day. So if you're like, dude, I have 15 people on my team, feel free to screenshot this and show it to your boss and be like, hey, if you're thinking of hiring somebody and you're like, do I really want to hire them? Think about this. Like, are you able to develop the team? Or if you hired this person and you then having less people would allow you to develop the team. For example, if your skills in the team are so bad and you've tried 1,000 things to solve it, but you just can't get the skills up in the team, what if you had more time? Okay, wrote it twice. All right, so now we're going to talk about trend analysis stuff. These are the 3-4 things you can do. Whenever looking at something, you can stop doing it, fix it, do more of it, or start doing it. Let me actually show you what this looks like, though. We're going to do this in 3 different directions. So first, we can start, stop, do more of, do less of. Okay, that said, don't even read anything on this fucking. These are the 3 options you have in addition to starting, stopping, doing less of, or doing more of. It is all going to roll up into one of these 3 categories. We could start doing more, start doing less. Sorry, we can start doing something to get a number more. We can make more phone calls. We can make calls. We don't make calls. We should make calls, or we should make more calls. We could make less calls. We can make better calls. Or we can change it so that the AI does calls and I do something else. Or this team does calls and I do something else. Or this team calls big people and I call little people. So it'll always go into these 3 categories. So I gave some examples of here of strategies that you might have. We need to go into a new market. Let me pick an easier one. I believe our activities are not the right activities. Cool. I can increase the quantity of those. We do more. The quality of those, I train them on how to make the activities better. I write better sequences. I write better scripts. Or we could distribute them differently. We have the AEs do outbound to big deals and the SDRs do outbound a little bit. Or we can decrease it. We do less activities, but that allows us to go after bigger people, so on and so forth. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Wonderful. So feel free. I know this is available, but I'll just put it in the chat as well. All right. So first I wanted to show you guys like these are whatever. Share. I don't care. Share. Cool. So this is your strategy options. I'm going to come down to this in a second. Okay. So data analysis, whatever, being strategic is fundamentally, I'm looking at 2 variables and I'm then I'm looking at a variety of combinations of variables. And I'm seeing if there's any combination that happens to be significantly doing well or not well. A simple example I could think of here is you want to go after a new market. If I said you want to go after a new market, you might immediately think like, okay, well, where is there a high density of people and that could afford it? So in your mind, you're naturally doing what I just said. You're thinking like, where 2 variables, high density and can afford it. And then as you start to think and you're talking to your GPT, you go, ooh, and also is easy to find. And also doesn't have a competitor. And also doesn't have a CEO who's going to say yes or no to it. And also will not churn. These are all combinations of variables that you're trying to figure out what is the correct strategy. Okay. So when you're thinking of a strategy within a company and you're not brand new to the company, we'll start there. You're like in the middle of it and your boss just says, sell more shit. What you're going to do is you're going to try to combine as many variables as possible. And this, what is the name? Oh, someone's trying to join. Who's trying to join? Oh, no taker. Fuck you. Cool. Okay. So what you could do, don't I have like a raw one in here? Oh, yeah. Is you're going to pull a raw file of all the info from your CRM. Okay. So I've got this raw, this is fake, obviously. You can see create date, close amount, trial, how many contacts, if they had more than 5 contacts in region. So I just put this fake data in here. Now, you can do one of 2 things. Option number 1, you do it old school, baby. So you're going to do a bunch of pivot tables where you go, hey, show me, this is showing, let's see, of people that did a trial, how many did we create? How many did we close? Of those we closed, how much for? And so it then will tell me my win rate and my deal size. Repeat for we have trial and no trial, over 5 contacts less, central, east, or west. Okay. And now I can see how they are performing. So what I've done here is I've added in the 100 score. For those of you guys that are not familiar or don't remember, 100 score is your win rate times your deal size times 100. Now you don't need to do the 100. You can just do win rate times deal size. But it typically comes out to like a weird, like the number will be weird. So it literally looks weird. So I just made it 100. This is so that you can say, hey, the central region, or let's say, it's a bad example. Let me just can't. It's how can I possibly compare the central regions, how can I possibly compare west to east? They only got 5 deals. They got 5 deals and they got 2 deals. So sure, they closed 4, but maybe I would have closed 4 if I got 5 deals. I don't know. You can't compare these two. You 2 reps. It's hard to compare them. So the 100 score basically says, what if we just made the number of deals the same? We made it 100. At that win rate, at that deal size, how much money would you print? This is showing the effectiveness of reps outside of deals. Cool. So
Mike, your column P 100 score.
Yep.
Is your equation off there? So 50,000 times 50%, 2.5 million. Oh, I was looking down there. Yeah.
Times 100.
Okay.
That's why I do the 100 because I think otherwise they usually the numbers aren't like nice and clean, but it usually comes out to something less so. And it's also easy to say to someone if we had 100 of those deals, we'd make $1 billion. We had 100 of those.
Got you. Thanks.
Thank you for asking. Cool. So with this, I can now make some immediate decisions. Let's look up at trials. So if I've done this and we think about the strategy, I can increase the quantity or quality or increase or decrease the quantity, quality, or distribution of stuff. One strategy I might decide here is everybody is required to do a trial. Our 100 score is over twice that of if we don't do a trial. Therefore, new policy, everybody's required to do a trial. I'm going to increase the number of trials. Other thing I might do, sorry, go ahead.
When you say do a trial, so just to understand, when you say trial, for me, it means I receive the trial download. So we work it and we convert it. When you say do a trial, what do you mean?
In this example, which is an example, I'm saying if the customer downloaded the trial app or hit the I want to do 7 days, not if they bought, just if they did the 7 days thing. So what we're seeing is that 8 people came in as leads. 4 of them did the trial. 4 of them just booked the demo. And so then we saw how many converted and at what dollar amount. So we can see if the person started a trial, what is the likelihood that they close and how much will they close for? Okay. So in this world, I could say moving forward on our website, there is no demo request button. The only button is start a trial. It will increase our trials. Or I could say, hey, the trials are really expensive. We actually, what this is not showing is that we have a trial team. It's an expensive team. We don't want to do trials. So I could say, I'm going to get rid of trials. I could say, we're going to increase call bookings by saying, even though trials are great, we don't like them so much. We're going to add a book a call button all over the place. And when it says trial, it's going to say, you sure? Book a call. That increases our book of calls. Or I can increase the quality of those calls by saying anybody who tries to book a call, there's some qualification criteria that says you probably should do a trial. If you want to take a call, we expect you to have this certain information in here. That will increase the quality of the calls. So so there's no, this is the correct answer. what there is based on this information, you can make your own decision on should I increase, decrease, make it better, make it worse, based on all the other nuance of your organization. Because there's things like, well, we don't have a good team for that, or Sarah's too busy for that, or Tom is not going to be able to manage that. So even though it might make sense on paper, when you go to Claude and you type in, what should I do? It's not going to have that context. You can fill in that context. Okay.
I would look, just a comment, I would look at SLAs and how we can improve the conversion from the very beginning, because that's usually a very good lever.
Right. So let's say you only had so much energy. You might say, hey, do I fix our SLAs on the no side and get this number to 75% and get this number to 37,000, thereby making it the same? Or do I increase the SLAs for our outreach to people that are in a trial and actually get this number from 75% to 95%?
Yeah.
Neither is wrong. It's a matter of execution. Cool. Good point. So this is one way to do it. The other way to do it is, here, let me stop sharing for a second, find the right one. You can type it into Claude. So I think, for example, I dumped into Claude everybody that's bought this program and what are the other tags that were on those people. And so I'm seeing now 75% of people that bought my checklist that was a free or that were given the checklist, 75% of them ended up buying this program. And so I could see how like things are better or worse just by putting it to Claude. I bring this up to tell you, if I were to show you all the different graphs it gave me, one said this is the best. The next one said this is the worst. Feel like I always have an issue with this.
So Mike, you're saying that when you dumped the raw data into Claude and did not give it instructions or tell it to follow 100 score, it came up with a variety of recommendations.
I actually did. I uploaded the raw data to Claude and I said, I think I might even just way up here, but I'm probably not going to find don't look at my terrible prompts. No, but either way, I basically said, here's all my raw data. Can you look at every tag and identify what percent of people with those tags ended up buying? The 100 score I didn't do because I didn't know the average deal size because I've changed the price of this so many times. But what I'm saying is one time it was like, if someone had this tag, they are 75% likely to buy. And then later when I was talking to it, it was like 2% or 3%. And it was the same data. And it was just like, sorry, whoops. You know, it does that. And so I've seen this now a few times when I put data into Claude, is it's like, this is the answer. And then you ask it a question or you go, well, think about this. And they go, oops, the whole thing is off. So I'm a little bit like, cool, dump some stuff in there, but I might give it a lot more parameters. Yeah. So two ways to look at the data though. Okay. Now, once you do that though, so you've looked at the data, you've done your pivot tables. In looking at the pivot tables, you then came over here and you made some decision on like, what do I think we should do in these categories or other categories? And you took some inspiration from me of how you can increase or decrease the quantity or quality just to get your brain flowing. And ultimately you ended up getting to, I got to make a decision. Here's what we do. So you start with your issue. So let's say let's just do this. Leads are down. Okay. Leads are not where they need to be. Your core issue, most people solve the issue. Reps aren't calling enough. Tell them to call more. Fast forward. It didn't work. Why? Because they were already calling so much. They couldn't call anymore. They were at the cap number of their capacity was at the highest point. Oh, well, why weren't they calling more? They weren't calling more because we don't have like a dialer. Oh, well, let's get a dialer. Fast forward a month. It worked because we're solving the core issue versus just like the first issue because you're busy. So what I say here is the core issue is actually whatever you think the answer is, plus why that's not happening now. So I think the answer is we're not making calls. Why is that not happening right now? Because the reps don't see value in it. Why is that not happening right now? Because the reps don't see anybody succeeding on dials. Why is that not happening right now? Because nobody's succeeding on dials. Why is that not happening right now? Because no one is good at sales calls. Why is that not happening? We haven't trained them. Cool. So the core issue is sales team is not receiving training. The core issue is not sales team is not making dials. This is how you make, this is like that golf analogy. I don't golf, but where it's like, you're a millimeter off and then like in the distance, you're like 100 yards off. This is because you're trying to solve completely the wrong issue versus the core. All right. So now you've identified your core issue. Then you want to select your action item. That's up here. What is the way I can solve reps don't have the skills? I can increase training, decrease training, increase the quality of training, decrease the quality of training, change who does the training. Those are the things I can do. And I want to give one quick example too of how this is so interesting. The quality distribution thing is ubiquitous. I'm working with a company right now. They do roofs. So right now, they're like, we need to get more people to knock on more doors. And we're like, well, I know that if I were selling a B2B SaaS solution, if I needed more people to knock on more doors, kind of the similar thing would be make more calls or write more emails. We would get a tool to do it like 10 times faster, or we would hire a person specialized in doing it faster. That you'd hire an SDR or we'd buy fucking whatever tool. And then we know, what did this company do? This company's like, we're going to hire 1099 employees to go knock on doors, and they do nothing but knock on doors. They don't do any sales pitch of any kind. They go, hey, you can get a roof, you can, and then they hang up and they have some guy down the road walk over to that person's house. So you can see how, whether this is a B2B SaaS company doing enterprise sales or a roofing company knocking on doors, quality distribution still remains the same. Cool. So you select your action item. Now your action item needs to then consider these risks. Your risks are the likely reason it won't work. Hey, I'm just going to fix the SOPs, Alana says. Will anybody actually follow them? Will anybody read them? Maybe not. Maybe the likely reason the action won't actually happen. For example, I might say, I'm going to have my team write SOPs. Will they actually write them? And then the last thing is there anything else in the business that's going to suffer if we do this? If I have the person that I'm delegating writing SOPs, delegate it to them, and they do it, maybe they don't do something else that I need them to do also. So now I'm going to ultimately make my final action plan, which is an adapted version. So my adapted action plan might be, hey, I'm going to write new SOPs. However, I'm going to delegate it. However, I'm going to have a follow up with this person every single week. However, I'm going to make sure I'm going to delegate the task this person has to get done to somebody else. And that's how we're going to solve the core issue without having it get fucked up because they didn't do it right, or there's a result of them doing it, something else didn't get done. This is strategy. Sound good? Thank you for recognizing the reference there, Joe, with the half smirk. Cool. What do I do with this? Go get all of your data, put it into Claude if you want to, or do some pivot tables. If you need help on pivot tables, hit me up. I can show you how to do that. And then run through this, but do this for like the next 3 months or 6 months of shit you got going on in your business. Sound good? Peace out, Boy Scouts. Later, Gators.
Thank you. Bye.